Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. No, no, there's this guy, his name is Cranky Vegan. He's always talking shit. Now this guy Frankie the Crankyville, of course his name is Jake Conroy, and he's clearly talking about certain someone. I think he's talking about lifting Danny Logic myself. I don't know. Is he calling out lifting Danny Logic without calling into is that what he's doing? Is he being political? Is he being diplomatic? Is that what he's doing? You be the judge. You be the judge what you think is going on here because man, frankly, Cranky, I'm at a little bit of a loss. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh.
And it seemed like it happens every few months. People suggest we stop calling ourselves vegans and stop calling it veganism and just change it to something else because veganism just has a bad reputation.
Ooh, does veganism have a bad reputation? What does veganism have a bad reputation for? Not killing animals. Most people think veganism's a diet. Like it's so funny how we got our heads so far up our collective asses, or we collect the asses and we collected the asses, collective asses. We've got our heads so far up our asses that we think that people are like, oh, they hate vegans. Most of them think that it's a diet. Most they think it's a diet. I hate veganism. The diet? What do you mean you hate veganism? Maybe we should ask that question. But let's see. Keep going. Let's see. Has everyone seen this?
It's associated with such negativity in society. And this is where I ever so gently suggest that, yes, there are groups of people that don't like veganism for sure. But for the
ever so gently. Okay, let's see if he's gentle. Be gentle, Jake. Jake, be gentle. It's my first time. It's my first time, Jake Conroy. Please be gentle. Is this going to be a historical moment where I will agree with Cranky on something? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see what you think. Let's see if you think that you're going to agree. Have you not seen this yet? Oh, then I'm happy. Then I'm happy that I will be the first person to show it to you.
For the most part, I would argue people actually don't like vegans. I'm talking.
Oh, they don't like vegans. Oh, shit. They don't. Oh, do we need some context? Sorry. Jake Conroy is part of Shack 7. He's part of the Shack 7. He did 4 years in prison for animal rights activism regarding beagles mostly. And what they went to prison was using the internet to kind of incite violence against the people who were committing the crimes against the beagles, I guess. Sort of like that. It's a kind of a distilled version. There's a great Wikipedia page on it if you want to be interested in old school vegan activism or animal rights activism. But he is one of the guys that was part of that, the Shack 7, as they call it. Yeah. Jake Conroy, or otherly known as the Cranky Vegan. Let's find out. Now you know. Now everyone knows who he is, okay? He used to do kind of naughty things for the movement. These days, he is a lot different, but not totally different. Like he's got some strong views on how the strategies that we employ to liberate all animals. Some people disagree with them. I often find myself one of them, but I sometimes agree with Cranky. Sometimes I don't. But let's see if I agree with him on this. Let's see if you agree with him on what he's about to say about people not liking vegans. Here we go.
Talking about the vegans that call people murderers and carnists and meat mouths.
Ooh, that's a lot. Carnists? Is that? I'm not allowed to call carnies carnists? Meat mouths? Well, I don't know. That's not so bad. Why not call them meat mouth? Murderers? The truth is, these words, these slurs, you'd have to be like, I'll call them that behind their backs all day or with just my VFFs. But you'd have to be like really pushing me for me to straight up call you a murderer. But I call Louis Vuitton murderers all the time. And Jake Conroy has said that he loves these he thinks pressure campaigns. Everyone focus on one. If every vegan in the world focused on Louis Vuitton right now, could we take down Louis Vuitton? Of course, it'd be like that, according to him. Or let's say every vegan in the world, we focused on horse drawn carriages. Would it work? We can end it. There's enough of us to do something. But instead, we're all fractured. None of us show up to anything. It's not much of a movement, is it? It's more of a community. So, but when you're yelling about something like Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton is murderers. There's blood on their hands. So it's not like we're calling the individual carnies murderers. It's not really what we're into, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you might call your Uncle Joe, your Uncle Joe at Thanksgiving. Maybe you do call him a murderer. But I'm guessing, like most people, like most vegans, we have to be pushed a little bit before we start calling people blood mouth and shit, right? Yeah. You never heard of meat mouth before? But I'm going to use it. Thanks, Cranky. Thanks, Cranky Vegan. But who are you going to use it against, right? You call them numquats. All right. So exactly. So we all use these words when we talk about them. But like, who do we like? Oh, they don't like vegans to call them names. Okay. Well, fuck them. But hold on. Let's see what he says.
Abusers and stick cameras in people's faces to get gotcha moments for their YouTube channels and go and attack other movements because they aren't vegan and say politics doesn't matter. And fun fact, this
politics doesn't matter. I don't think politics doesn't matter. Do people say politics doesn't matter? Do people say that? Who is he talking about? They stick cameras in people's faces for gotcha moments. I've never done that. I've never been like, gotcha. I've never done that. Like, I'll hold a camera, put one on a tripod. I don't know. Who's he talking about? Who the fuck is he talking about? I wish he would use some kind of concrete example or like some B-roll so I know who he's talking about. Because, like, this is not helpful. He's just throwing a lot of shit out there. I'm not sure exactly what he means about who's out there calling carnies. Just me. I'm not out there like in the street being like, hey, carny, come here, you stupid blood mouth. Why don't you come over here and talk to me? I don't do that. No, I do it on my show on YouTube. I'm not here recruiting. I'm not here trying to, when I'm doing outreach, I don't do that. What the fuck is he talking about? Anyway, more. Let's go, Jake. It's a short video.
Generally doesn't get the public to like it very much. Now, if you want to hold people accountable and be angry with people, I have a long list of CEOs and politicians I can direct you to. But
who are we being angry with? Louis Vuitton? Like, who is he talking about? Who goes out in the street and picks some random passerby and says, hey, fuckface, come over here, you fucking murderer? Nobody does that. I've never even heard of a vegan doing that. Never. Like, this is the problem with Jake Conroy. He always makes up these weird fucking scenarios in his head, and he bases his entire thesis on some imaginary thing that happened. Like, we've been talking about vegan education for 30 years and it hasn't worked. That is like something you'll hear him say again and again and again. He'll go, well, education's important, but we've been trying it for 30 years and it clearly doesn't work. And I was like, wait a second, we've been trying it for 30 years. Who are you talking about that we've been trying it for 30 years? When? Most people don't even know what veganism is. Clearly, we're not really fucking trying any kind of education. Like, we're not really doing a great job at education if we are doing it. And I don't think anyone's actually been doing it. People mostly have been like, well, I just don't do it, and I'm going to try to lead by example. And I'm going to work out a lot and get really buff, and other people will want to be vegan too. And also, I'll have a cooking channel, and if I do a cooking channel, people will want to cook just like me, and they'll be skinny like me. That's what we've been doing for 30 fucking years. We've been pussyfooting around and being nice guys and being super friendly with everybody. Oh, I'm just a little vegan and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I'll be over here with my tofu just raw. I'm just eating tofu raw with a spoon, a little bit of salt, and I'm just eating my tofu. That's what we've been doing for 30 years. Like, I don't know who he's talking about. Like, we've been trying this for 30 years. Really? Because I did not meet a vegan activist forever. Like, it was so long. I don't even remember when was the first time I met a vegan activist, but it was probably in Vegas. Like, that wasn't that long ago. Like, I'm vegan 20 years, and I think I met my first vegan activist maybe like 10 years ago, something like that. Like, I met other activists who were into other shit who happened to be vegan. I met lots of vegans, but activists doing active outreach and education? No. Hell no. I never saw that. Unless you count the Hare Krishnas, and they're not even vegan, man. So who are you talking about, Jay Conroy? I'm going to watch this twice because it's only a minute long. Here we go. Let's do it again.
If your outreach goal is to get people to join your team, telling those same people they are awful really isn't the way to do it.
Telling people they're awful. Who tells people they're awful? Who does that? Like, I know we talk shit. Like, this is vegan after dark. But like, we talk shit. That's a lot different than being like if you're a Lakers fan and you're talking shit on the Pistons or whatever, I don't know, fucking Pistons, and you're going, yeah, screw those Pistons, fuck those guys. But you don't go meet someone who supports the Piston and be like, you're a horrible person. You're like, you just don't know. You don't know what's so great about the Lakers. And that's how we treat veganism in a lot of ways. I mean, I hate to do a sports analogy because I'm not really a sports guy, but there's a lot to like the tribalism of that, right? We belong to a group of people who believe in human decency and the sanctity of life. And there's a bunch of people who don't. But I don't go around telling people. I checked in a hotel. You think I talked to the hotel lady? And I was like, listen, bitch, you should fucking go vegan, you stupid blood mouth. No one does that. Nobody. If anything, they might ask me about my t-shirt and I'll go, you're a murderer. No, they'll ask me my t-shirt. I'm like, hey, well, actually, yeah, I'm against slavery and I take it really seriously. I decided about 20 years ago, I wanted to be against slavery and I'm against violence and oppression. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it like that. I thought it was just a diet. And that's how I do it. Like, what are you talking about? Someone asked me about my t-shirt. I'm like, listen, murderer. Who does this? Who is Jake talking about? Like, Jake, you're so in the internet bubble. This is all you see. You see me talking shit. You see people like me talking shit. And you think that we're out there telling people that? You think that's what I do with my chicken truck? I blast the noise when people come over and they're like, what the fuck's up with this chicken truck? I'm like, yeah, we're trying to get people to think about chickens, man. We kill 10 billion a year. And they go, oh, that's not... Jay Conroy pisses me off about this shit because he's telling a lie. He's telling a lie. And I don't think he means to. So, like, I don't think he's intentionally lying, but he's just so wrong about the entire vegan, about a community of which he belongs.
You know what I want to do? What's that? I want to go join the people that tell me over and over that I'm a terrible person. So do we change?
People tell me over and over again that I'm a terrible... Who? What the fuck?
Veganism to something else and start over? Or do we maybe start with changing vegans? Because we can call it whatever we want, but if we as vegans are still the same, we will just end up polluting the next thing too.
We're polluting it. So it's the vegans that are polluting. The vegans are polluting the vegan movement. Got it. Understood. Thank you so much, Jay Conroy. It's the vegans' fault. It's the vegans' fault. All those assholes out there, all those people out there talking about how animals deserve to live and that we don't have the right to kill them or enslave them. Assholes, right? Am I right? Bunch of assholes. These stupid vegans. What a bunch of assholes. Like, what are you even saying, man? What vegans have you met? Turning veganese. Let me ask you a question. You work at a phone store, if I'm not mistaken, over in in Texas, right? Do people walk in and you call them murderers? Is that what you do at your job? And you tell them over and over to their face that they're murderers? Is that what happens? Or turning veganese, when you were leafleting in front of a stadium about animal testing, did you tell everyone that passed by that they were murderers? Is that what you did? You just hand them a flyer and said, here you go, you murderous bastard. Is that what we do? What the fuck is he even talking about? This is like a leading, he has like 20,000 subscribers. He's a big fucking deal. He went to prison for this movement and he's completely off base. 100% off base. We need to change vegans. What should we change about them? Well, we can't go around calling people murderers. Who the fuck does that? Fuck. You know what we need to do is fuck. We really need to change Americans. What do we need to change about them? Well, I mean, uh, everyone carries guns. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, there are people who have guns, but no, not every. I don't have a gun. Like most people don't have guns. Like everybody has a gun. No, I don't even know who you're talking about. Prankster, the lying prankster, dude. I think he like accidentally lies. I don't want to call him a liar, but he's lying, man. It's very cruel. Thank you for speaking up and changing your lifestyle to better the planet. That works. You call people, listen, you cruel piece of shit. Like, we don't do that. I had some lady say that vegan farming is worse for the planet. Yeah, I mean, we have to deal with morons, but like, I don't call them morons because we have to be the ones that have a higher level of discourse because discourse is, we value it. We value discourse. So if we value discourse, we have to maintain a higher level of discourse. We can't just be the ones being like, yeah, duh, bacon, duh. We can't do that shit. I asked them if they knew about that monkey business going around on campus. There you go. You didn't call them murderers? Wow, you're one of the good ones turning veganese. You're one of the good vegans. This whole self-loathing vegan thing fucking pisses me off.
We can polish a turd, but it's still a turd. So maybe instead of calling it something else, maybe a lot of those vegans can just stop being turds. Hey, so this happened this past week, and it seemed like it happens every few months.
So I think he's talking about lifting Danny Logic, talking about how we should call it sentientism or some bullshit, because he's not like because he doesn't really believe in the whole vegan thing, not using animals and all that shit. So he wants to call it something else, which is stupid. And he knows it, and he even says it in the video. But I mean, it's kind of fun. He's right. Every once in a while, vegans start talking. Well, should we call it something else because people don't like us? Fuck them. Do you think the civil rights movement where, like, they don't like it. They don't like the word civil rights because of the Civil War. They don't want to know the Civil War and civil rights. It's too closely aligned. No, we can't talk about that stuff. What the fuck? Let's change the name of our movement. Community, whatever the fuck we have. What a joke. God damn it. Well, that's Jake Conroy for you. What a letdown. What a disappointment. 3-Minute Thursdays is what his wife calls him in bed. Yeah, but he goes for 13 minutes. She calls him 3 minutes, but he goes for 13. I like that. Thank you.
Really, we need to have spay and neuter programs.
So there's a punk rock guy on V Burger, and I really like this because it takes so much courage to stand in front of a crowd like this. Look, he's in like City Hall or something in LA. I think this is Los Angeles City Hall or one of the boroughs, and he's talking about spay and neuter. And so the city of LA will pay for all this euthanasia, but they won't pay for spay and neuter. And it's like, well, if you just paid for spay and neuter, we wouldn't have to kill all these extra animals. Why are we paying all this money for euthanasia when we could just be paying for spay and neuter clinics? It would make more sense, and we wouldn't have all these dead animals to contend with. Plus, it's better for the environment, by the way, because dead animals ain't good for the environment. You know what happens when an animal dies? Do you know what happens when an animal dies?
The country of the Netherlands has done this. It's 3 times the size of LA County. It's twice the population. They have no stray dogs in that country. They have empty shelters because they have a government-enforced, provided spay and neuter program. Why can't we do that here in LA County and stop this madness? Why are we spending money on euthanasia and not spending money on stopping breeding?
Wow, a lot of people showed up. I really like this. So here are all those vegans that Cranky's talking about, saying that politics don't matter. See, vegans, politics don't matter. And you heard him. He called them murderers, didn't he? He called them blood mouths, and he called them all sorts of nasty names. And he doesn't think that politics matter. This is the vegan movement right here. People courageously standing up and saying their mind. Think how nervous he was. You can kind of hear his passion and how anxious he was, and the people applauding him and everything was so great. And that's what we need. I want to look this motherfucker. I want to reach out to him and be like, "Yo, be on my show." Yeah, he's great. This is exactly what we're talking about. Vegans do think that politics matter. We do try to use the system in order to free animals and to make the world a better place for them. Maybe they use the dead animals and sell the bodies for money. Maybe. It's too many. There's too many. LA County, there's like, fuck, man, there's like almost 20 million people living there or something. Last time I checked, it was like 13 million people or something stupid living in LA. There's no way that they could do what are they going to do with all the dead animals? No, I think they just put them in a dumpster, incinerate them maybe. Yeah. Cross the border into Idaho and it's less than $100. What is, to euthanize an animal? What do you mean? What you talking about, Willis?
Animal and split it on stopping them being born. That way your staff, your volunteers won't have to go through this hell, and the rescues can do their job without all this. That's all I gotta say.
Nice work. That's all I gotta say. And he says, it's better for your staff. Your staff won't go home being sad. We'll be able to help people, Oh, spay and neuter, $100 to spay and neuter. Well, that's the thing. Like LA County, there's places he said in Amsterdam or places in Netherlands where they're 4 times the size of LA and they're able to do this. Why can't we do it? Like we just don't have the ability. That's really the option? It's like we just can't get anything done in America anymore. We're just completely useless. We're just standing around with our dicks in our hands being like, duh, meh, That's what I think Americans are doing these days. Completely lost any kind of integrity or any kind of credibility that the whole world used to look up to America, and now what? We can't even spay and neuter animals to make a happier place for them. Can't even take care of our homeless. By the way, he's speaking in a place that has the highest density of homeless people in America. They can't figure that out. They can't figure out how to put homeless people into homes. What the heck? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, the unhoused, if it makes you feel better. Here we go.
Hey, so this happened this.
I want to see this. I just want to back out right here because Jess McKay, I believe I never followed you. You sound like such a charmer. Between the two of us, you're the one out here making posts shitting on vegans. How they do activism. Nice. Jess McKay puppets. I can't believe I never followed you. You sound like such a charmer. Well, yeah, no wonder you sound like you're in a tiny bubble. You are. He is definitely in a tiny bubble, for sure. Yeah. Your other followers in the first place, you elitist. No wonder you sound like you're in a tiny bubble. Yep. Definitely in a tiny bubble. Well, that was fun. I wish that he hadn't done that, but there we are. We're in this world, and I inherited this world. I didn't make it. I inherited this world. I didn't make this world. This is the world that I'm living in. Why do I get the non-constructive criticism, negative comments when I am at least doing something publicly? But I wonder if these people are doing any activism. I'm annoyed, frustrated at this. Vistopia. Yeah, you should be frustrated by it. Because you're not doing activism the way he wants you to. Like the arrogance involved. And by the way, what do you mean, Jigger? I give you I give you compliments all the time, Jigger. You're a goddamn hero. What the fuck? Can everyone please tell Jigger he's doing great work out there in the beaches of fucking Puerto Rico? He's making the world a better place, one person at a time. He's got a YouTube channel in Spanish and English that is easily findable. People can look him up and they can see the conversations that he's doing. How amazing is that? Does everybody get their separate chat? You might be the only person on Skyjack Morgan. Go over to Vegan, of course, Pluto. I think you're in the wrong. Skyjack Morgan only has one person watching, but there's lots of people watching over on Twitter and Vegan of Course YouTube channel. That's what's going on. But we've got an active community over here, so come on over to Vegan of Course. All right. Jigger, you're doing great work. You don't have, just because one stupid old guy is saying bullshit, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You're doing great work. You're out there making the world a better place and at least trying. Don't feel annoyed and frustrated. Be annoyed, but don't be frustrated. Get out there and keep going. Because the other thing is, there's always going to be some asshole to tell you, you're not doing it right. Okay, well, what are you doing? You went to fucking prison for 4 years. Like, obviously what you were doing wasn't right either. Like, if you really read what happened to that Shaq 7, it doesn't look like any of those guys. Nobody looks like the good guy, all right? So clearly he's changed his tune a lot. And he's trying to do different stuff. Now, the arrogance involved in telling somebody else that their way of trying to make the world a better place isn't working and won't do anything, it's so fucking blatant. Like, you have to be an arrogant prick to tell other people, well, what you're doing doesn't work. What you're doing, nah. I don't think we're going to make any change that way. Oh, do you? You're the expert now on human psychology and what makes the world work. Like, I don't know, Sophie Scholl. I've been thinking about her so much lately because I haven't thought about her for a while. But Sophie Scholl, she woke up one day and she thought it was weird that they were cutting people's heads off, and so she started making a secret little magazine, a secret pamphlet, and delivering it to people, picking out random addresses and sending them to people through the mail. And even taking these pamphlets to the mail could get her killed. So, you know what they did when they found out that she thought it was wrong to cut people's heads off and kill Jews? They cut her head off. She was like 18 years old. They cut her head off. They cut her brother's head off too. And how many people are going to be like, oh, well, you see, what you were doing didn't work. It didn't matter. And it's true. It didn't work. She was trying to get Hitler kicked out of office. She was trying to get the Holocaust to end. And you know what they did? They cut her fucking head off. And you know what now? Now there's where she dumped, because when she got caught, she threw all the pamphlets into the quad of this school. And in that school now, there's bronze versions of the pamphlet on the ground. And then after she died, a couple of the pamphlets made it to the Americans and the British. And so the Americans and the British, they printed the pamphlet and they dropped it from the skies over Germany. And even though it didn't work, the legacy is so goddamn important, because you know what? I know who Sophie Scholl and the White Rose is. I know who that is. And it reminds me that opposition must happen. We cannot all just follow the goose steppers. We can't just all support the Holocaust. Some of us have to be saying something about it, even if it gets our heads chopped off. And I'm not saying I want to get my head chopped off, but some of us got to be doing something, you know? I mean, for fuck's sake. Sorry about the graphic imagery, but this is vegan. This is Vegan After Dark.